We crossed paths 9 years ago. It's been 8 years since we got married, and we're blessed with two incredible daughters, both beautiful, aged 6 and 8. There's not much of an age gap between us. I'm 33, and she's 30. Funny thing, we actually met when I was still a student. So you could say that over the past 9 years, I've managed to climb up a bit in life. Today, I stand pretty solidly on my feet. We have a house, 2 apartments, 2 cars, and we love to travel. Our love was strong in the beginning, as it often is. But like most couples, we went through our share of disagreements. And like most long-term relationships, the intensity of those early feelings eventually faded. So these days, the flowers are a once-in-a-while treat, maybe twice a year, on weekends, or if we hit the cinema or a mall for a little bit of excitement. Life's daily grind, and of course work, gradually took over. Don't get me wrong, I love my wife and my daughters deeply. But looking back, I realize I haven't expressed that love in a while, and I certainly haven't shown it as much as I should have. To outsiders, we probably seemed like the perfect family. My wife is everything I could have hoped for. She's intelligent, decent, and beautiful. And I always knew that other men took an interest in her, though she never gave anyone a reason to believe anything was going on. The thing is, even though we had everything we needed, I worked long hours from home, trying to take care of things and provide for our kids. Life at work wasn't exactly smooth sailing either, because, you know how it goes, trouble tends to pile up. The unfortunate result of all this was that my wife and I slowly drifted apart. Our communication dwindled, and we barely saw each other. It was like I only caught glimpses of her in the morning and right before bed. Then, one day, something strange happened. I noticed a conversation on her WhatsApp. Nothing too obvious, but enough to make me pause. She quickly deleted it and tried to brush it off, claiming it was just a friend. But the whole situation felt off, especially when I noticed she was constantly glued to her phone, and it was locked all the time. That's when it hit me. I was starting to feel completely blindsided. I have restored my call history and checked my WhatsApp messages for the last week. What I discovered shocked me to the core. It was like reading a chapter from our past, a reminder of all those sweet names, fluttering hearts, declarations of love, and poems we exchanged. But now it was all happening again, behind my back, with someone else. And immediately, in those very messages, I saw betrayal. My face paled. I never imagined that such a thing could happen to me. We've always had an open relationship, no secrets. I've never cheated on her, not once, and I'd never thought about it. Everything seemed to be fine with me. I traced the calls, and it turned out they'd been in touch for nearly 2 weeks, talking almost every day, sometimes for half an hour at a time. It was clear now, he wasn't just a friend. He was a colleague from the office next door. I knew I had to confront my wife. We talked for hours, and I laid out the call records for her, pointing out the times they talked, during the day, in the evenings, even when I was home with the kids. It was overwhelming. At first, she tried to deny it, insisting there was nothing between them, just friendly chats and some harmless messages. But after some pressure, I managed to get her to admit everything. Only then did she confess they'd been intimate twice. I'll be honest, I had no idea how to handle this. I love her more than anything, and I realized that now more than ever. I couldn't imagine my life without her, or without our daughters. But all the things we built together over the last 9 years, everything, felt like it was crumbling down in an instant. She apologized that very same day, begged for forgiveness, and gave me the full story. He wasn't rich or impressive, far from it. In fact, he was quite average, unmarried. Their connection, music, movies, casual outings together. She said she'd felt neglected, that I'd stopped paying attention to her. And I can't deny it. She was right. That part is on me. I really wanted to feel young and loved again. But seriously, why didn't she just tell me what was going on? Yes, he showered her with compliments, paid attention to her, things I hadn't done in years. I guess I'm also to blame for not noticing sooner. She told me she planned to keep things strictly to messaging, just chasing new emotions. But, well, we all know how that goes. It didn't stay that way. The chemistry, the physical attraction, it took over. I get it. It doesn't take much to seduce a woman who's caught up in work, daily chores, and kids. But how could she let it get to this point, to the stage where it turned into a full-blown romantic affair? That's what I can't wrap my head around. I've always known her to be emotional, passionate, someone who really lived for love. She used to write diaries and poems in her youth, always chasing those romantic moments. But to throw all that away, to just erase it like it never mattered, I don't think I'll ever understand that. Still, I didn't want to go overboard. I wanted to process everything calmly, see what the situation really was. After many long emotional conversations, she admitted that she had been talking to him, that I should know the whole truth. She wrote to him, even though he already knew I had found out. She said it was a mistake, that she loved me, and wanted to save our family, and that he would never contact her again. He responded, saying he hadn't expected things to go so far, that he understood, and just like that, he went silent. A day went by, and I told her I was giving her one shot. No second chances. Honestly, I don't even know if I'll ever be able to forgive her completely, or if I can truly forget what happened. She swears up and down that she'll never betray me again. She's crying, thanking me for this opportunity to make things right. She insists there's nothing left with him, that nothing ever will be, and apologizes over and over, saying it was all a mistake. But it ended so quickly, she says, and she was ready to walk away from it all. She claims that it wasn't until the very real threat of losing me that she understood how much I mean to her. Only then did she realize she couldn't live without me. I honestly don't know if I can forgive her. It's not just about the physical betrayal. It's the emotional one too. Maybe the emotional part cuts even deeper. I can't get past the fact that she allowed everything we built together to crumble behind my back. How could she just disregard her husband and children like that? What makes someone flip that switch? I'll never wrap my head around it. How she could do what she did. It's one of the questions that haunts me. If you can help me make sense of this, I'd really appreciate it. But I'm not expecting you to. I just needed to ask.